I'm broke the boss, I flipped the script. Super Trucker Podcast got me fully equipped. Left the noise behind, now I'm stacking green. Voyager Nation made me live the dream.
Passive income, is trucking the place to actually be able to get that done? That's the topic of the day. We have seen an uptake in fleet owners calling, but silent fleet owners who actually want us to take care of everything for them. We already have a few of those on the fleet, but the idea behind it is, does it always work out? You know,
man, that's a very tough call. I would say if you know trucking well, but for real, not just like imaginary, I know trucking. Or for example, not imaginary situation where your cousin is a CDL driver and now he talks you into buying trucks so he can drive for you, or you fall in love with that idea and then everything falls apart. I'm not talking shit about nobody's cousin, but I am talking shit about somebody's cousin, because those situations like usually go bad very, very quickly with pretty significant consequences for the individual who is actually investing money in it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, man, because actually even interviewing dispatchers and whatnot, you know, I'll ask, hey, what kind of experience do you have? And some people say, oh, my uncle's in trucking. I've been around it, and just like somehow, because he's in it, you somehow know everything about it, you know. And then we have to unpack the interview and say, all right, what do you know? And it's kind of really get a gauge, but just being exposed to it on a surface level isn't going to give you all the necessary tools for you to be successful. So
I would say some of that can be a huge help. For example, you know, a wife of an owner operator or a trucker is probably going to be slightly easier to train, at least for early stages. Mm-hmm. Easier and harder to train at the same time, because easier going to be because you're no longer struggling over what's a lumper. You know, she knows it. Yeah, she was not exposed like to that directly, but you know, the average trucking family lives on the phone. Yeah. All the conversations are happening there. So individual like that already gonna have a lot of like good understanding what is what. Individual like that is gonna have good understanding what is it? Is that a good thing, bad thing? At least, you know, like detention, like is that good or bad? Well, it depends, but it's more bad than good. Because it's good if you get paid for it, and you know, if you get paid well for it. But at the same time, detention already by default means that
you're in trouble.
It's not going well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So,
but at the same time, that's gonna come with some other challenges of, you know, bad information.
Yeah, I just think some of the things that you know, with our current guys that we're working through, we're getting better at it. But again, like you said, those people that are kind of limited and exposed, you know, like let's say a simple repair on the truck. You don't have to bring the truck back to Florida for some stuff. You're going to lose more. But again, like, you know, telling that to somebody who hasn't been in the game could be challenging.
So I see this as a problem more than anything else, to where the individual who says, all right, I'm going to invest into trucking as a passive income. I'm going to hand you the truck and you do anything that you see fit as long as I'm getting paid. That's one thing. And another thing, you're gonna allow everybody to milk you. That's another thing. Because first, it sounds okay. I'm gonna buy a truck and I'm gonna put it, let's say, with Voyager, and you guys do what you think is best, right?
Right.
Number one, the drivers. I can tell you right now, the driver is gonna be a problem. Like, good drivers are very hard to find. Even though right now it's easy to find the driver. But driver and good driver, that's two different professions.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's going to be challenge number one. And then there is going to be a secondary challenge that nobody obviously going to talk about it on the stage one. Well, unless you're trying to do it with Voyager, then we'll talk about it with you before anything starts. Because we don't want bad outcomes. And by default, most of those passive income adventures are not gonna end well.
No, they're going to have high turnover for sure.
Yes. So, and that's not because Voyager sucks or no. It's a tough business, and there is going to be a lot of variables and a lot of things that going to become a conflict of interest or whatnot. So, for example, I know there is a group of drivers that prefer to work for an owner operator over large fleet.
Really? Why so? What's the thought process there?
I think I'm just pulling it out of my ass pretty much. That's just my opinion. It's not based on any facts. But
Okay.
my opinion is these drivers are, a lot of times we're going to be somebody who have been an owner operator for a little bit.
Gotcha.
We fell in love with that, my own schedule, my own business, my own time, and my own decisions. So now we made every mistake in the book, so we lost that business. And now we jumped into somebody's serious fleet, and now we're getting their teeth kicked in because now all that BS of I don't go here, I don't go there, I don't do this, I don't do that. Bro, you're not buying a truck or becoming a driver not to do things.
Right, yeah.
You do that to do things. So, for example, and now it becomes oh shit, so I can't push around the company. Maybe I can find an owner-operator, a fleet owner who is needed. He needs me. I'm the guy that knows it all.
Yeah.
And now he's going to let me run his business. One thing that nobody wants to talk about, and I'm sure this video is going to get a few dislikes just from what I'm about to say. Bro, if you knew it that well, what happened to your business?
Yeah, that's always
But how many times, and we've seen this, the owner of the fleet or an owner of the truck, when through the process looking for a driver, sees that somebody who was an owner operator has a huge benefit because he knows the business, he already knows what's up. But nobody is asking those questions because those are not very nice questions to ask, right?
Let me see that the real resume. What have you built? What have you destroyed?
Because as soon as somebody is gonna ask those questions, there is gonna be a pushback. So you kind of you're one of them, not one of us.
Yeah, I know.
Bunch of bullshit.
So it's kind of crazy because to that same part, right? I think for that person that has not been in the business, patience, knowing how to be patient is key because I often see them get into desperado mode because they're not finding a driver. And now it can literally have been 6-7 weeks and nothing. And now that lip service.
We have a truck sitting right now.
Yeah. And that lip service sounds so nice because the guy's no, I come with everything and do it all, man. I just, my truck just broke down. That's the only reason I'm here. Mm-hmm. And then human behavior, that person's gonna be finally, man, the more you do, the more you get paid. I got you, brother, man, let's go. And then you're in it.
So now I think going back to that mindset, the idea of that, past owner operator or a driver that's looking for those commitments is we are trying to create this chaos that we love, packaged in the wrapping paper of I'm gonna be able to run it as my business because I'm so qualified for it, and nobody is gonna be able to tell me where to go, what to do, and how to do it. But the real question that everybody should be asking, even if you're only in this situation because your truck broke down, and I know situations like this, and there are some legit guys that do that. We're not doing that for the reasons I'm describing. We're just so serious that we're not wasting, a month without work. We will jump into somebody else's truck to drive.
Yeah, I see that all the time. Yes.
But that's not a majority. That's a tiny, itty bitty minority.
Yeah, because they view cash, because they're so conditioned to cash flow to be successful.
Yes.
Owner-operator partnership is very real. I got tons of guys who are making $4,000 take-home. Learn how you can do that by giving me a call at 863-342-5171. We are conveniently located in Lakeland, Florida. We are a Florida-based trucking company that is here to provide you resources to be successful. So once again, it's 863-342-5171.
And now, again, most of the guys coming through the door into these predicaments, we actually buying that chaos that we fell in love with. and we're not necessarily even hiding the outcome from you, but we're not advertising that either.
Right, yeah.
So we're kind of sweeping it under the rug. It's not a big deal. It was just a bad situation. But the reason you're in that situation is because you made a lot of mistakes along the way. And now, if that owner operator or fleet owner now says, okay, this guy is very experienced, he knows what's up, he's gonna be making decisions, he's gonna be doing all that. This is how you end up in the situation. Now the truck is going in the worst time of a year for that route, Texas to Miami, Miami to Texas. He doesn't even live in Florida nor Texas. And now he barely pushes one of those a week. And now there is no money. And now there is no money for nobody. And now we are in that bad situation where it goes sideways. And this is, for the most part, why this is not going to work. However, I've seen a few fleet owners that were able to manage it very, very well for at least a period of time.
Yeah, because I think they run into the right person and they source it. And like you said, sometimes it's that guy that, you know, they're waiting on a part and it's going to take a little bit of time, and 1 to 2 months of running it with that well-seasoned driver, because his mindset's different. You know, going back to what you said before, like, it's not just a cash flow. Let's say he still has a cost to do business. So if that's whatever it may be, let's say $700 a week, truck, insurance, and all that doesn't stop. Even if he goes to become a fleet driver for someone, that's not coming out of his savings. That's coming out of new cash flow. To even if it's a break even, you're not depleting the savings. You're not depleting what you've happened to put away for a rainy day. So yes, that in itself has its value.
You're always moving forward, or even when you're moving backwards, you're moving backwards at the slowest pace possible.
Yeah, for resolutions to come before you've gone
to... By the time you're back in your truck and that overhaul or whatever is done, which again would not recommend, but if you're in that situation, by the time your overhaul is done, you're not $30,000 in the hole, you're only $25,000 in the hole. Sounds bad, but at the end of the day,
one is worse.
In the long term, one is a hell of a lot worse than the other.
Yeah. So that kind of behavior, like you were saying, that definitely does move the needle. It impacts it. It makes a difference.
Yes, but for the most part, again, like in going back to reality, you know, like we're talking about two different things: how things could work and should work versus how things are actually working.
For the most part, it's actually the other way.
Yes, for the most part, it's a shit show. That's a fact. Unfortunately, it could be different, but unfortunately, it is not. And at the end of the day, everybody is so needy that nobody can actually make a good call at the end of the day. Like, for example, you see one of those situations going sideways, and now you want to point it to the owner of a truck because that's our customer, that's our loyalty. And now we're no longer willing to hear you, and it goes sideways even worse.
That for sure. Well, here we go. A lot of the times, guys, you got to try something to stay in business. And for those people who are electing to do this passive income, it's actually asking the right questions to minimize that failure rate. And that's what we do best here.
So if you decide to do that passive income thing, regardless, I would suggest call Voyager 863-342-5171. I would say if I was the guy about to do it, I would not do it. Not recommended. But if I was the guy to do it, I would do it with Voyager, because at least I know that the know-how, the intent, and everything else is going to be there, and all the popular and less popular things are going to be discussed.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna be, just like one of those like people in the dark and like everybody's happy except me because I'm about to get my sorry ass into collections.
Here we go, guys. It's all about knowing what outcome you actually want and then making the decisions to get there. So once again, it is 863-342-5171. We'd love to hear from you. I think we can help.
All right, guys. Take care.
Operators looking for the best business owner opportunity, look no further. I got all the programs that are going to make you successful. Everything to operating from 2 different fuel cards,
top of the line trailers with a maintenance program that is unbeatable. To plates, insurance, you name it, we got it. All you got to do is give us a call, 863-342-5171. Learn more and get started.